My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic, the Modonna Virus, Chapter 1, or Episode 1, the Resurrection of Disease. Keep in mind that this is an alternate universe and it takes place during the events of Season 7 of My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic. I don't have any editing software to edit or add music, background music of any kind, since I mostly use my Elgato to record gameplays, commentaries, reactions, and more like this. I do hope y'all enjoy the video or / reading without further ado. Let's get into the story of Chapter 1 or Episode 1. Somewhere in Manhattan, an executive director of a waste disposal company is being shut down due to high contamination and due to the pollution in Manhattan getting bad from it. However, the manager doesn't want his employees to lose the job since he promised them to help get food on their tables. As their wages were 20 bits an hour, and everyone got a raise a few weeks ago due to all their hard work and has been raised to 30 bits an hour for disposing of chemicals and other dangerous materials. I made a promise to my employees that they would be able to put food on their table for their families and pay the bills. Now what, we are being shut down all because of the pollution? He said in a stressed and depressed tone, as his elbows are on his desk and his hooves on his head. He then turned to his left to see the pictures of the memories he had with his coworkers and employees, from cookouts to bowling and parties and even golfing from over the past 10 years with them. Some come and go, but he still enjoyed the wonderful and glorious times with them, since he considered them as friends and family. He then turned his head back to look at his desk, and 3 seconds later, he came up with a brilliant plan to save his company by himself and not get his coworkers involved, since he'd rather take the fall if something extremely bad goes wrong and backfires. He closes up the factory for the night and heads home to wait until midnight to begin his plan. As midnight struck, he got out on his hazmat suit, snuck into his own factory from the back, took one of the carriages that's carrying the waste chemicals and other materials, trotted towards the end of the city limits of Manhattan, and headed towards the forest. It was hard to find a good area to dump the chemicals out but he found an area that has a small hole in the ground that possibly leads to a cave somewhere that nobody explores, or no pony explores. He then took out one of the barrels from the carriage and gently rolled it off the ramp of it. He then rolled it towards the hole from overhead of it and stopped the waste barrel directly on top of it. He then opened the lid and started pouring the radioactive waste into the hole. This is a huge, really bad idea that will turn into something a billion times worse and cause a worldwide end to Equestria and other countries around the world. As liquid goes through the hole and the loops are here, the loops here and there in the ground from 55 feet below ground is an ancient ruin that harbors one of Equestria's evil monsters that has caused a virus and disease across the lands from thousands or millions of years ago back in medieval times of Equestria. The radioactive liquid waste now goes down through a crack of a hole in the wall and is straight towards a stone coffin that contains an ancient Liquid then seeps through underneath the tiles and under the stone coffin to where it took a matter of a few seconds before the evil rises from the radioactive waste. A mare with a green coat, white eyes, and no mane, hair, or tail, along with no key mark, begins to wake up and rise. She then moved the stone coffin lid with all her strength to her left, as it then fell hard and made a loud impact noise that anyone could hear almost faintly above the surface. What was that noise? I better get this done quick and get out of here. While the waste disposal manager is taking their barrel to the hole, the Z's then heard someone calling for her telepathically as she stands to and looks around to get a better look of her surroundings. I'm glad that you're awake, my dear. It has been thousands of years now since Celestia and her family trapped us in our own tombs. Now, from this day forward, we can take our revenge and take over Equestria and soon destroy the whole entire world. You know what to do as well, Disease. I understand, my lord, she said with an expressionless look and no emotion of any kind either. Just blankness. She can't run or gallop, but she can still climb, walk, crouch, lay down, sit, and more. As Disease got to the huge stone door to her tomb, she couldn't open it since there is no lever or anything to open. Disease is an earth pony with no magic or wings to fly, and so her lord helped her out. Let me help you out, my faithful carrier. As her dark lord sees through Disease's eyes that the door is shut right tight, he used his magic to open the door for her, as Disease then thanked her lord for the helping hoof. Thank you, MorScaw. I appreciate it. You're welcome, my dear. She then started to walk outside and saw how much Equestria has changed and improved over the centuries. She then saw a neighboring city of Manhattan and decided to work from there and towards Ponyville and Camelot in order to grow the horde more bigger, stronger, and deadly. She can't bite people to turn them infected, but she can only has the aurora to walk near ponies to infect them instantly if they get within her 25 feet range. It will grow more over time, but evolution takes time. She also wanted to infect the pony that woke her up from her nap, but the pony was already long gone and has abandoned his carriage with the radioactive waste in the back that awakened her. However, she will go after the homeless first and go after more ponies from there too. Meanwhile, in Camelot, Princess Celestia wakes up from a horrible nightmare about her whole entire nation being overthrown from a deadly virus and someone or something, taking over her whole body from the inside and becoming a beast of sort that she doesn't want to become as Camelot falls into shambles. What was that dream all about? Is it a sign or a predicament of the future to come? She said as she sits up on her bed and taking a few minutes to breathe in and out. Once she has calmed down for a few minutes, she then looked around at her bedside table drawer with the alarm clock on it to see that it says 4:34 a.m. Since Celestia already went to sleep at 10 p.m., she felt like she couldn't fall back asleep and decided to get up and go and get some warm, hot tea to soothe her nerves and worries. As she was making some tea for herself, she got this feeling to check up on her sister to see how she is doing and see if she is sleeping well. As she walks down the halls towards Luna's room and reaches it, as she opens the door quietly and peeks in, the atmosphere feels extremely off, as if something extremely bad happened. Princess Celestia then began to walk into her little sister's room quietly by walking slowly and gently towards Luna's bed, only to see that her blanket is not going up and down from her breathing, as if Princess Luna is not breathing at all. Celestia then panically rushed over, dropped her cup of tea to the floor that then broke, removed her blanket, and rolled her on her back to check for her pulse with her hoof. And to check her neck too, so. Lulu, please, wake up! Princess Luna, sorry. Princess Celestia then started to panic and worry more about her little sister as she tries to shake her a little to wake up. She then began to do CPR on her, but nothing. A guard then comes rushing in to see what the commotion is all about, with the concern on the bat stallion guard's face. Your Majesty, what's the problem? Celestia then replied back in an extremely worried and panicked voice to the royal bat stallion guard. Guard, I need you to contact our best doctors for Luna's health. She is not breathing or getting up. Please, go get some pony. Hurry! The guard then rushed back out of Luna's room to go and contact the best doctor for Luna's life and health, and hopefully she can be saved and rescued from death. While Celestia performed CPR on her sister, Celestia then started to doubt if the medical team will save her sister or not. She decided to do something legal that she passed for a law already an extremely long time ago, from hundreds of years ago. A resurrection spell that brings the pony back from the dead. She doesn't know if it will work for her or not, since she only tried it on an Earth Pony, Pegasus, and Unicorn before, but not an Alicorn yet until now. As Celestia stepped back 5 yards away from her little sister's body, she began to cast the spell as the aura around her body started to glow white. She didn't come back to life, sadly. However, a Bat Pony royal guard of Luna's witnessed what happened when she peeked through the door that is opened a tiny bit to Luna's room. Every guard even knows this is illegal for the princess to do too. Somewhere in a bar in Manhattan, a unicorn stallion with a yellow coat and blonde hair and blonde mane is drinking his depression away from his late grandma's Apple L alcohol. As he sits at the bar, crying from losing his future fiance/wife that is trans that got killed by her ex-lover in her office late at night a few nights ago. I'm going to give you some water for the rest of your visit at my bar, AppleCrust. I'm very sorry for your loss, but I don't want you to stumbling out of here wasted on Apple L from a long night of drinking. I don't want to see my favorite customer get arrested out on the streets of Manhattan by the police and end up in jail for the night, the bartender says as he pours AppleCrust some water and hands it to him and takes the empty Apple L away to throw away. Thank you, Jed, said AppleCrust as he is in a deeply depressed state as he is crying and slowly grabbing his drink closer to him. His tears then start to get into the glass of water as he then stares into it and remembering his girlfriend. Jed then turned on music to the bar to lighten the mood up a bit, with some happy and upbeat music from the jukebox he has. Again, I'm very sorry for your loss, AppleCrust. I'm pretty sure that you will bounce back from this pain and heartache. Just spend some time to yourself for a few days or more to feel your emotions, while just taking it one day at a time. You're still young, and I'm pretty sure another lass or lad will come into your life and be with you, and be just like your late girlfriend in a way. I'm like 55 years old, and I feel like I'm an old man now that's gonna retire soon, and I had a good life too with family, friends, and loved ones close to me. There are plenty of fish in the sea, kid, Jed said to AppleCrust with some knowledge and words of encouragement to get his confidence up a bit. Jed then also remembers the blue Pegasus sleeping at one end of the bar counter too, on the corner. The stallion also looks like a Crystal Empire guard, but why is a Crystal Empire guard out here to drink instead of going back to the Crystal Empire? Here is his question. Confused and puzzled, Jed then went over to the guard to ask him why he's at his bar. Excuse me, sir, Jed says as Stallion Pegasus wakes up and looks at him. Why are you here at my bar in Manhattan when you should be at the Crystal Empire for your guard duties? I don't mind guards, cops, or almost anyone visiting my bar and having a drink since I'm very welcoming to ponies in my establishment, but I just want to know is all. The Blue Stallion Pegasus Crystal Empire guard then replied with stress and worry in his voice. I got in trouble by the Princess of Friendship when I accidentally tripped over one of her books and landed on top of her to make it look like I was trying to kiss her when I really tripped. I tried to explain to her that it was an accident and not intentional, but she just scolded me and called me a creep and kicked me out of her castle. I did have a crush on her when I first saw her, but I'm not one of her stallion admirers that has been bothering her for a while. I was just there to deliver a package of a book that she ordered from the Crystal Empire. We tried to get one of our couriers to deliver it, but they are all extremely busy at the moment. I even saw Princess Twilight writing a letter to Shine Armor, her older bird, that is the captain of the guards in the Crystal Empire. This is the third strike, and now I'm going to get fired from my job since I have been trying to work up to be captain of the Crystal Empire guards too. My career in life is over. Also, my name is Cobal, by the way. Jed and AppleCrust feel bad for him for the huge misunderstanding, but they also know that he has to return to work now. I'm very sorry that the Princess of Friendship took it the wrong way, but you have to go back to the Crystal Empire and face the music, Cobal. I'm pretty sure that if you and your superiors can talk this whole thing out and clear up the misunderstanding, I think they can forgive you, hopefully. Jed said with concern and reminded him that he's still working. Alright, I'll pay my bar tab in first and walk to the station since I only had one beer. Keep the bits too, Cobal said as he gets up from his stool and trots towards the door after paying for his tab and leaving the bar. He then started to head towards the train station leading to the Crystal Empire for the next train that will take him there. After Cobal left the bar, Jed then helped AppleCrust get to the room upstairs for him to sleep in for tonight, to sleep off being drunk for the night. Even though it's near 2 hours or so for the sun to rise, Jed still wants him to sleep off his alcohol influence. As AppleCrust got to his bed into his rented room, he immediately fell asleep on the bed as Jed then put a blanket on him. Before he closed the door and turned off the lights in the room, he then replied quietly with concern and worry to himself. Poor guys. I hope that life can turn around and turn out good for them in the future. I don't like to see anyone unhappy, any pony unhappy, or in a state of deep depression either. The next day, as the afternoon is near, AppleCrust woke up to the sound of hammering going on as he is now wondering if there is renovations or improvements to the bar happening now. He then slowly got up and started to make his way down after walking out of his room just to see what's going on and what's all the noise too. As AppleCrust got downstairs, he sees Jed boarding up the windows and doors as if the board themselves in or keep something dangerous out. Jed, what is going on, and why are you boarding up all the windows and doors? AppleCrust asks with concern and confusion in his voice. Jed then put his boards and tools down after finishing up the last window that he boarded up and turned to AppleCrust with a worried and panicked look on his face. He then said to AppleCrust that won't leave or forget what he heard for his entire life, along with something unbelievable that is extremely impossible to happen in Celestia or anywhere. There are zombies outside on the streets of Manhattan, AppleCrust. The dead has arisen, and now our friends and neighbors are getting infected, Jed said in a panicked and worried state as AppleCrust's mouth opened to what he just heard now. AppleCrust, now with a worried and scared look on his face, turns his head to his left to see a bloody hoof print on the left glass double doors from a recently undead pony that touched it. He also then sees an earth pony walking on a sidewalk going down the street across from the bar, that is infected too. This is only just the beginning of the virus outbreak starting, and it's time to try and survive.